The clock is ticking, chosen one. Picture a night sky ablaze with stars, each one whispering your name, calling you to a moment that will change everything. God has been preparing you, shaping you through every tear, every doubt, and every restless night. Tonight, under this sacred canopy of stars, he says, the time is now. This is not a coincidence. You were meant to hear this message before the midnight hour strikes. Your struggles, your fears, your unanswered prayers, they've all been leading to this divine moment. God is ready to reveal the truth about your destiny, and it's more radiant than you can imagine. Will you step forward, or will you let this moment slip through your fingers like sand? The choice is yours, but the time is now. You've felt it, haven't you? That restless stirring in your soul, like a fire that refuses to go out. Maybe you're watching this in the quiet of your room, the weight of the world pressing on your shoulders. Perhaps you're wondering why life has been so hard, why every step feels like a battle. Let me tell you something. Those struggles are not a punishment. They are proof of your calling. God doesn't test those who are ordinary. He refines those who has chosen. The Bible says in Isaiah 48:10, "See, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." Every challenge you've faced, every moment you thought you couldn't go on, was a divine forge, shaping you into a vessel for His purpose. You are not broken. You are being built for a breakthrough. Tonight, God is pulling back the veil. Imagine a scroll unfurling in the heavens, your name written in golden ink, beside a plan so perfect it takes your breath away. This is your faith journey, chosen one, and it's time to understand why you were born for such a time as this. You've been carrying dreams that feel too big, hopes that seem out of reach. Maybe you've buried them under fear or disappointment, but God sees those dreams. He planted them in your heart before you took your first breath. Psalm 139:16 declares, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." Nothing about you is an accident. Your gifts, your passions, even your pain, they are all part of God's plan to lead you to your divine purpose. Let's talk about fear for a moment, because that's the unique angle of this message. Your deepest fears are not your enemies. They are the keys to your greatest breakthroughs. Think about David facing Goliath. The giant wasn't just a threat. He was the doorway to David's destiny. That towering fear, that impossible odds, was the moment God used to show the world who David was. What's your Goliath? Is it the fear of failure? The fear of not being enough? Maybe it's the fear of stepping out in faith when the world tells you to stay small. Tonight, God says, face that fear, because on the other side is your spiritual awakening. Your fear is the shadow of your calling, and when you step through it, you'll find the light of your purpose waiting. Let me share a story to make this real. There was a woman named Sarah, a single mother in her late 30s, living in a small town in Ohio. She worked 2 jobs, barely making ends meet, and every night she'd pray for a way out of the struggle. She had a dream to start a bakery, but fear held her back. What if she failed? What if she lost everything? One night, after a particularly hard day, she felt a nudge in her spirit. She wrote down her dream on a piece of paper, just one goal: open my bakery by next year. That small act of faith shifted something. She started taking steps, saving a little each week, researching recipes, even talking to a friend who owned a cafe. Within a year, Sarah's bakery opened its doors. It wasn't perfect, but it was hers, and it changed her life. That's the power of facing your fear and taking action. Sarah's story isn't verified, but it's real in the way it mirrors the journeys of so many chosen ones like you. Now, let's get practical. God's plan for you isn't just a feeling, it's a path you can walk. Here are 3 specific steps you can take tonight to step into your divine moment. First, write down one goal that scares you. It could be starting a business, mending a relationship, or pursuing a passion you've ignored. Put it on paper, because writing it down makes it real. Second, call or message someone who needs your forgiveness or encouragement. Maybe it's a family member you've been distant from or a friend you've lost touch with. That act of connection will unlock something in your spirit. Third, start one project you've been delaying. It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe it's signing up for a class, sketching out a plan, or even praying boldly for guidance. These steps are simple but powerful, and they're your first moves toward your breakthrough. Chosen one, if this message is stirring your soul, take a moment to type, "I am ready for my divine moment," in the comments below. Your words will join thousands of others, creating a community of faith and purpose. Let's declare together that tonight is the night everything changes. You might be wondering, why now? Why does this feel so urgent? Because God works in seasons, and this is your season of personal transformation. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." Your season of waiting is over. Your season of stepping out is here. Think about the moments in your life when you felt closest to God. Maybe it was a quiet morning when you felt peace you couldn't explain, or a time when you overcame something you thought would break you. Those were glimpses of your destiny, and tonight God is calling you to live in that purpose every day. Let's pause to reflect. Imagine a door standing before you, radiant and carved with your name in gold. Behind it is everything you've been praying for: peace, purpose, provision. But the handle is on your side. God has opened the door, but you have to walk through. That's what these steps are about. Writing your goal, reaching out to someone, starting that project. They're not just tasks. They're acts of faith that say, "I trust you, God." And when you trust Him, He moves mountains. Matthew 17:20 says, "Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move." Your faith, even if it feels small, is enough to shift your life tonight. Let's talk about what's holding you back. Maybe it's doubt. You've tried before and it didn't work. Or maybe it's the voices around you telling you your dreams are too big. Chosen one, those voices are not from God. He says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Your past failures are not your future. They're the stepping stones to your testimony. Think about Peter, who denied Jesus 3 times. That could have been the end of his story, but God used him to build the church. Your mistakes don't disqualify you. They prepare you for your divine purpose. Here's another story to inspire you. Michael was a teacher in his 40s, living in Atlanta. He loved his job, but he felt called to do more, to write a book about faith and resilience. Fear of rejection stopped him for years. What if no one read it? What if he wasn't good enough? One evening, after watching a video like this, he took a step. He wrote 1 page, just one. That page became a chapter, and that chapter became a book. Today, Michael's book isn't a bestseller, but it's touched lives in his community. His act of courage wasn't about fame. It was about obedience to God's call. Your step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. Chosen one, your life is a story God is writing. And this is not the end. It's the chapter where you rise. Your fears are the ink, your faith is the pen, and your actions are the words that will shape the pages ahead. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out, starting your project, are your way of saying, "I'm ready, God." And when you say that, He meets you right where you are. If this message is igniting your spirit, type, "I am ready for my divine moment" in the comments again. Let's flood the comments with declarations of faith, showing the world that chosen ones are stepping into their destiny tonight. And if you feel led, join thousands of others by subscribing to stay connected to your divine purpose. Your subscription is a commitment to your faith journey, and we're honored to walk with you. Let's dive deeper into this sacred moment, chosen one, because the stars above are still singing your name, and God's message for you tonight is unfolding like a river finding its way to the sea. You've taken the first steps. Writing that goal, reaching out to someone, starting that project. Those acts of faith are like seeds planted in fertile soil. And now it's time to nurture them with trust and persistence. The journey to your divine purpose isn't a sprint. It's a pilgrimage, and every step you take tonight is a testament to your courage. Picture yourself walking a path lined with glowing lanterns, each one lit by God's promises, guiding you through the shadows of doubt, toward a horizon that sparkles with hope. This is your faith journey, and it's time to embrace the truth that your fears are not roadblocks, they're signposts pointing to your destiny. Think about the story of Esther in the Bible. She was an ordinary woman, yet God placed her in a palace for a purpose she couldn't see at first. When the moment came to risk everything, her safety, her reputation, her life, she faced her fear and stepped forward. Esther 4:14 says, "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" Chosen one, you are in your royal position right now. It might not look like a palace. It might be a cramped apartment, a stressful job, or a season of uncertainty, but God has placed you exactly where you need to be. Your fears, like Esther's, are the threshold to your breakthrough. What if the very thing you're afraid of is the door God is asking you to open? Tonight, He's saying, "Step through, because I'm with you." Let's make this personal. You might be wondering how to keep going when the world feels heavy. Maybe you're facing a fear that feels bigger than you, a financial struggle, a broken relationship, or a dream that seems impossible. Here's the truth. God doesn't call you to face those fears alone. He equips you with His strength. That strength isn't just for the big moments, it's for the quiet ones too. Like the courage to keep writing that goal, to make that call, to take one more step on your project. Your spiritual awakening is happening right now, not because you're fearless, but because you're faithful. Let me share a story to light your path. There was a man named Daniel, a mechanic in his early 30s from a small town in Texas. He loved his work, but he felt a pull to do something more, to mentor young men in his community who were struggling. Fear held him back. What if he didn't have the right words? What if no one showed up? One night, after a long day at the shop, he felt a stirring in his heart. He reached out to a local youth center and offered to start a weekly meetup. That first meeting was small. Just 3 kids showed up. But Daniel kept going. Today his group has grown, touching dozens of lives. Daniel's story isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. He faced his fear, took a step, and trusted God to do the rest. Your story can be like his, chosen one, if you keep moving forward. Now, let's talk about the lies that try to dim your light. The world might tell you that you're not enough, too young, too old, too broken, too late. But God says you are exactly who He needs. Look at Moses, who doubted his ability to lead because he wasn't eloquent. Exodus 4:10 shows Moses pleading, "Pardon your servant, Lord, I have never been eloquent." Yet God used him to part the Red Sea. Your limitations are not a barrier. They're an invitation for God's power to shine through you. Tonight, reject those lies. Your personal transformation begins when you choose to believe God's truth over the world's noise. That goal you wrote down? It's not too big. That person you reached out to? They needed your voice. That project you started? It's the beginning of something holy. If this message is sparking something in your soul, take a moment to type, "God's time is now for me," in the comments below. Let's fill the comments with a chorus of chosen ones, declaring that this is our moment. Your words are a beacon, connecting you to a community of faith and purpose. Imagine a river flowing through your life, chosen one. Sometimes it's calm, sometimes it's wild, but it's always moving toward God's plan. Your fears are like rocks in that river. They might slow you down, but they can't stop the flow. Every time you choose faith over fear, you're carving a path for God's promises to reach you. Think about the times you've felt stuck. Maybe it was a job that drained you, a relationship that hurt you, or a dream you let go. Those moments weren't the end. They were training grounds. God was teaching you resilience, patience, and trust. Now, as you stand in this divine moment, you're ready to carry those lessons into your breakthrough. If this message is touching your heart, consider supporting our mission through Super Thanks. Your generosity helps us share God's truth with more chosen ones, and we're deeply grateful for your partnership in this work. Let's talk about hope, because that's the fuel for your journey. Hope isn't wishful thinking, it's the certainty that God keeps his promises. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." Your hope is a bridge between where you are and where God is taking you. Maybe you can't see the full picture yet, how that goal will come to life, how that relationship will heal, how that project will grow. That's okay. God doesn't ask you to see the end. He asks you to trust the next step. Your hope is what keeps you moving, even when the path is unclear. Tonight, let hope rise in your heart like a sunrise, chasing away the shadows of fear. Here's another story to inspire you. Maria was a nurse in her 50s, living in Chicago. She'd always wanted to volunteer abroad, but fear of the unknown stopped her. What if she wasn't healthy enough? What if she couldn't make a difference? One evening, after a long shift, she felt a nudge to research volunteer programs. She found one that needed nurses in a rural community overseas. She took a step, filled out the application, not knowing if she'd be accepted. Months later, Maria spent 3 months serving families who'd never had medical care. It wasn't easy, but it changed her perspective on life. Maria's courage came from trusting God's timing, and your courage can do the same. Chosen one, you are not alone on this path. God is with you, and so is a community of believers cheering you on. Your fears are not the end of your story. They're the beginning of your testimony. Keep nurturing those seeds you've planted. Keep trusting that God's plan is unfolding. Your divine purpose is closer than you think, and tonight is the night to claim it. Picture those lanterns along your path, glowing brighter with every step you take. Each one is a promise from God, reminding you that His time is now. The lanterns along your path are glowing brighter now, chosen one, casting a warm light on the journey you're walking tonight. Each flicker is a reminder that God's timing is perfect, and His message for you is unfolding like a tapestry woven with threads of purpose and promise. You've planted seeds of faith by writing your goal, reaching out to someone and starting that project. Those steps are sacred. Like the first notes of a song God is composing through your life, but the melody isn't complete yet. It's time to lean into the rhythm of trust, to let go of the need to control every outcome and embrace the mystery of God's plan. Picture yourself standing on a cliff's edge, the wind of possibility swirling around you. And beyond the horizon, a future so radiant it takes your breath away. This is your moment to trust, to soar, and to discover the depths of your divine purpose. Let's talk about surrender, because that's the key to unlocking the next chapter of your spiritual awakening. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means giving over, handing your fears, your doubts, and your plans to God. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, and he will make your paths straight." Your understanding might tell you to wait, to play it safe, to hold back. But God's voice is calling you to release those fears and trust his direction. Surrender is an act of courage, like a seed breaking open to become a tree. Your goal, your outreach, your project, they're the first cracks in that seed. Now, let God's light and water bring them to life. Imagine a moment from your past when you felt truly free. Maybe it was a day when you laughed without worry, or a time when you accomplished something you thought was impossible. That feeling wasn't random. It was a glimpse of the freedom God wants for you every day. Your fears have been like chains, but tonight God is offering you the key. Surrendering doesn't mean you stop working toward your dreams. It means you work with faith, knowing God is guiding the outcome. Think about the story of Abraham, who left everything familiar to follow God's call to a land he didn't know. Genesis 12:1 says, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you." Abraham didn't have a map, but he had a promise. Your promise is written in the stars tonight, chosen one. Will you trust it? Let's make this real with a story. There was a woman named Rachel, a graphic designer in her late 20s from Seattle. She had a stable job, but her heart longed to create art that inspired others. Fear of financial instability kept her stuck. What if she couldn't pay her bills? What if her art wasn't good enough? One night, after a restless prayer, she felt a nudge to surrender her need for certainty. She started small, posting one piece of art online. The response wasn't huge, but it gave her courage. Over time, she built a portfolio, took on freelance work, and eventually left her job to pursue her passion full-time. Rachel's journey wasn't without challenges, but her surrender to God's timing opened doors she never imagined. Your surrender can do the same. If this message is stirring your spirit, type "I trust God's timing" in the comments below. Let's create a wave of faith in the comments, uniting chosen ones who are ready to surrender to their divine moment. Your words are a declaration, connecting you to a community of believers walking this path together. Now, let's talk about the power of vision. Your goal isn't just a task, it's a vision God has placed in your heart. Habakkuk 2:2-3 says, "Write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets, so that a herald may run with it. For the vision awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false." That goal you wrote down is your vision, and it's alive with God's purpose. But vision requires focus. The world will try to distract you with noise, comparison, negativity, busyness. Tonight, God is calling you to guard your vision like a treasure. When you reached out to that person, you weren't just making a call, you were building a bridge to your future. When you started that project, you weren't just beginning, you were claiming your calling. Keep your eyes on the vision and let God handle the details. Let's reflect on the beauty of your journey. Your life is like a mosaic made of broken pieces that God is crafting into a masterpiece. Every fear you've faced, every tear you've shed, every moment you thought you'd lost your way, it's all part of the design. Romans 8:28 promises, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Your struggles are not wasted. They're woven into the story of your breakthrough. That goal you wrote is a piece of the mosaic. That outreach you made is another. That project you started is a vibrant shard of color. Together, they're forming a picture of your divine purpose, and it's more beautiful than you can imagine. Here's another story to lift your spirits. James was a carpenter in his 40s from a small town in Georgia. He'd always dreamed of building furniture that told stories, but fear of failure kept him focused on practical jobs. One evening, after a long day, he felt a prompting to surrender his doubts. He started sketching designs just for himself. A friend saw one and asked him to build a table. That table led to more orders, and soon James was running a small business, creating pieces that brought joy to families. His surrender didn't make the work easy, but it made it possible. Your vision, chosen one, is waiting for your surrender to bring it to life. Tonight, as the stars shine above, know that you are not walking this path alone. God is your guide, his promises are your map, and your faith is your compass. The fears that once held you back are becoming stepping stones to your destiny. Your goal is taking root, your outreach is building connections, and your project is sparking new possibilities. Keep surrendering, keep focusing. Your personal transformation is unfolding, and God's timing is perfect. Picture those lanterns glowing brighter, their light stretching further, illuminating a path that leads to everything you've been praying for. The lanterns on your path are blazing now, chosen one, their golden light stretching across the horizon, revealing a landscape of possibilities that God has been preparing just for you. The night sky above hums with divine energy, as if the stars themselves are cheering you on, whispering that this is your moment, your time to rise into the fullness of your divine purpose. You've taken bold steps, writing that goal, reaching out to someone, starting that project, and those choices have set your faith journey ablaze. But the fire of your calling needs fuel, and that fuel is perseverance. Picture yourself as a runner in a sacred race, your heart pounding, your eyes fixed on a finish line that glows with God's promises. The path isn't always smooth, but every stride you take tonight brings you closer to the breakthrough you've been praying for. Let's talk about the strength that comes from perseverance, because that's the heartbeat of your spiritual awakening. Life has tested you through setbacks, delays, and moments when you wondered if God was still listening. But those tests weren't meant to break you. They were designed to build you. James 1:2-3 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." Your trials are not the end of your story. They're the training ground for your destiny. That goal you wrote down, it's a seed that needs time to grow. That outreach you made, it's a bridge that needs care to stand strong. That project you started, it's a spark that needs your persistence to become a flame. God is calling you to keep going, to push through the resistance, because your breakthrough is on the other side. Imagine a moment when you overcame something hard. Maybe it was a time you studied for weeks to pass an exam, or when you worked extra hours to provide for someone you love. That grit, that refusal to give up, is the same strength God is asking you to bring to your calling. Your divine purpose isn't a one-time event. It's a journey of small, faithful steps that add up to something eternal. Think about Noah, who built the ark while the world mocked him. Genesis 6:22 says, Noah did everything just as God commanded him. He didn't see the rain yet, but he kept building day after day. Your perseverance is like Noah's hammer driving nails into the ark of your destiny. Every time you choose to keep going, you're building something holy. Let me share a story to anchor this truth. There was a man named Thomas, a school teacher in his 30s from a small town in North Carolina. He dreamed of starting a community garden to bring people together, but fear of failure and lack of resources held him back. What if no one joined? What if the project fell apart? One night, after a long day of grading papers, he felt a stirring to take a step. He started by clearing a small plot of land behind his church. It was hard work and progress was slow, but he kept at it week after week. Neighbors noticed, then joined in. Today, that garden feeds families and fosters friendships. Thomas's perseverance turned a dream into a legacy. Your perseverance, chosen one, can do the same. If this message is igniting your soul, type, "I will persevere for my purpose" in the comments below. Let's flood the comments with declarations of resilience, uniting chosen ones who are committed to their divine moment. Your words are a rallying cry, connecting you to a community of faith and strength. Now, let's talk about the gift of community, because God doesn't call you to walk alone. Your outreach to that person wasn't just a task, it was an invitation to build a network of support. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up." The people God brings into your life, friends, family, even strangers, are part of His plan. They're the hands that lift you when you stumble, the voices that cheer when you succeed. Your goal needs encouragement. Your project needs collaboration. Tonight, God is reminding you to lean into the community He's given you, because together you're unstoppable. If this message is touching your heart, consider supporting our mission through Super Thanks. Your generosity helps us spread God's light to more chosen ones, and we're deeply grateful for your partnership in this sacred journey. Let's reflect on the beauty of your progress. Picture a tapestry being woven, each thread a moment of your life, your joys, your sorrows, your victories, your fears. God is the master weaver, and every thread, even the ones that seem out of place, is creating a masterpiece. Your perseverance is adding vibrant colors to this tapestry. That goal you wrote is a bold red thread of courage. That outreach you made is a golden thread of connection. That project you started is a blue thread of creativity. Together they're forming a picture of your personal transformation, one that reflects God's glory. Romans 5:3-4 says, "We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope." Your hope is growing, chosen one, with every step you take. Here's another story to inspire you. Leela was a retiree in her 60s from a small town in Oregon. She'd always wanted to teach children to read, but fear of being too old stopped her. What if she didn't have the energy? What if the kids didn't listen? One evening, after praying for direction, she decided to volunteer at a local library. She started with one reading session a week, battling self-doubt but showing up anyway. Over time, her sessions grew, and the children's smiles became her reward. Lila's perseverance didn't just change her, it changed lives. Your persistence, chosen one, can ripple out in ways you can't yet see. Tonight, as the lanterns glow and the stars sing, know that your journey is sacred. Your perseverance is carving a path through the wilderness of fear, leading you to a land of promise. Your goal is taking shape. Your outreach is building bridges, and your project is gaining momentum. God is with you, weaving every moment into a story of triumph. Keep running your race. Keep leaning on your community. Keep trusting His plan. Your divine purpose is unfolding, and the time is now. The lanterns along your path are now a radiant constellation, chosen one, their light merging with the starlit sky, painting a picture of hope that stretches beyond what your eyes can see. The air hums with divine promise, as if heaven itself is leaning closer, whispering that your divine purpose is not a distant dream, but a reality unfolding in this very moment. You've set your faith in motion, writing that goal, reaching out to someone, starting that project. And those choices have become pillars of your spiritual awakening. But the journey doesn't end with action. It deepens with gratitude. Picture yourself holding a glowing ember in your hands, warm with the blessings God has already poured into your life. Tonight, God is calling you to fan that ember into a flame by embracing gratitude, because a thankful heart is the foundation of a life transformed. Let's talk about the power of gratitude, because it's the lens that turns your struggles into stepping stones. When you focus on what God has done, His provision, His guidance, His love, you see your journey in a new light. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 says, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." Gratitude doesn't erase your challenges, it reframes them. That goal you wrote, it's a gift, a seed of possibility God entrusted to you. That outreach you made, it's a bridge of connection, a chance to reflect God's love. That project you started, it's a spark of creativity, a testament to the talents He gave you. When you thank God for these steps, you're not just acknowledging them, you're inviting Him to multiply their impact. Gratitude is like water on dry ground, turning your faith journey into a garden of breakthroughs. Imagine a time when you felt overwhelmed, maybe by a loss or a setback, and yet something small, a kind word, a sunny day, a moment of peace, shifted your perspective. That was gratitude at work, a glimpse of God's hand in your life. Tonight He's asking you to cultivate that perspective intentionally. Your fears, the ones you're facing head-on, lose their power when you thank God for the strength to confront them. Think about Paul and Silas, imprisoned and bound, yet singing praises to God. Acts 16:25 says, "About midnight Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them." Their gratitude didn't just lift their spirits, it shook the prison walls and set them free. Your gratitude, chosen one, can shake the walls of doubt and open doors to your destiny. Let me share a story to make this vivid. There was a woman named Claire, a barista in her early 20s from a small town in Colorado. She dreamed of becoming a photographer, but fear of rejection kept her from sharing her work. One night, after a tough shift, she felt a nudge to thank God for the creativity He'd given her. She started small, posting one photo online with a caption about gratitude. The response was modest, but it sparked joy. She kept posting, thanking God for each like, each comment, each opportunity. Over time, her work caught the eye of a local gallery, and she held her first exhibit. Claire's gratitude didn't make her journey easy, but it made it joyful, and it opened doors she never expected. Your gratitude, chosen one, can do the same. If this message is sparking light in your heart, type, "I'm thankful for God's plan" in the comments below. Let's fill the comments with a symphony of gratitude, uniting chosen ones who are embracing their divine moment. Your words are a beacon, connecting you to a community of faith and hope. Now, let's talk about the rhythm of rest, because even in your pursuit of purpose, God calls you to pause and breathe. Your perseverance is powerful, but it's sustained by moments of stillness where you reconnect with God's presence. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Rest isn't laziness, it's an act of trust, a way of saying, "God, I know you're working, even when I'm not." Your goal doesn't need you to strive every second. It needs you to trust God's timing. Your outreach doesn't require constant effort. It thrives when you let God guide the connection. Your project doesn't demand perfection. It grows when you rest in God's provision. Tonight, God is inviting you to find peace in His presence, because a rested heart is a ready heart. Let's reflect on the tapestry of your life, now glowing with threads of gratitude and rest. Every moment you've lived, every victory, every tear, every fear you've faced, is a stroke of divine artistry. Your personal transformation is not a destination, it's a process, one that shines brighter when you thank God for the journey and rest in His promises. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in advance for us to do." Your goal is part of those good works. Your outreach is a piece of His plan. Your project is a reflection of His creativity. When you approach them with gratitude and rest, you're aligning your heart with God's masterpiece. Here's another story to lift your spirit. Marcus was a delivery driver in his 40s from a small town in Michigan. He'd always wanted to start a podcast about faith and life, but fear of not being tech-savvy held him back. One evening, after a long day on the road, he thanked God for the stories he carried in his heart. He started small, recording one episode on his phone. It wasn't polished, but it was honest. He kept going, resting when he needed to, trusting God to guide the process. Over time, his podcast grew, touching listeners across the country. Marcus's gratitude and rest didn't just fuel his dream, they made it sustainable. Your gratitude and rest, chosen one, can do the same. Tonight, as the lanterns blaze and the stars dance, know that your journey is a sacred symphony. Your gratitude is the melody, your rest is the harmony, and your faith is the rhythm. Your goal is blooming, your outreach is strengthening, and your project is shining. God is with you, painting your life with colors of hope and purpose. Keep thanking Him, keep resting in Him, keep trusting Him. Your divine purpose is alive, and the time is now. The symphony of your journey is swelling now, chosen one, its notes rising like a chorus of angels under a sky aglow with celestial light. The lanterns along your path pulse with divine energy, their radiance weaving a bridge between your heart and the stars, where God's promises shine eternal. You've ignited your faith journey with courage, writing that goal, reaching out to someone, starting that project. And you've nurtured it with gratitude and rest. But the melody of your divine purpose grows richer still through the power of belief. Picture yourself standing before a vast ocean, its waves whispering your name. Each one carrying a truth God is asking you to embrace. You are enough, you are chosen, and your faith can move mountains. Tonight, God is calling you to anchor your belief in His unwavering love, because a heart rooted in faith is unstoppable. Let's talk about the strength of belief, because it's the cornerstone of your personal transformation. Belief isn't just hoping things will work out. It's trusting that God's plan is already at work, even when you can't see it. Hebrews 11:6 says, "And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to Him must believe that He exists and that He rewards those who earnestly seek Him." Your goal, that bold vision you wrote down, is a declaration of belief in God's provision. Your outreach, that bridge you built, is a testament to your faith in His healing. Your project, that spark you kindled, is a reflection of your trust in His creativity. When you believe in God's promises, your fears shrink and your purpose expands. Tonight, God is asking you to hold fast to that belief, because it's the wind beneath your wings. Imagine a moment when you felt unshakable confidence. Maybe when you spoke up for something you cared about, or pushed through a challenge others doubted you could overcome. That was belief in action, a spark of the faith God is fanning into a flame tonight. Your fears, the ones you're facing with courage, are opportunities to deepen your trust. Think about the story of Daniel in the lion's den. Daniel 6:23 says, "And when Daniel was lifted from the den, no wound was found on him, because he had trusted in his God." Daniel's belief didn't stop the lions from roaring, but it stopped them from harming him. Your belief won't erase every obstacle, chosen one, but it will carry you through them unharmed and stronger. Let me share a story to bring this to life. There was a woman named Aisha, a nurse in her 30s from a small town in Virginia. She dreamed of opening a community health clinic, but fear of not having enough support kept her hesitant. What if she couldn't raise the funds? What if the community didn't trust her? One night, after a long shift, she felt a stirring to believe in the vision God had given her. She started small, hosting a health fair to share her idea. The turnout was modest, but it strengthened her faith. She kept going, meeting with local leaders, sharing her passion. Over time, her belief attracted donors and volunteers, and her clinic became a reality. Aisha's faith didn't make the path smooth, but it made it possible. Your belief, chosen one, can do the same. If this message is lighting a fire in your spirit, type "I believe in God's promises" in the comments below. Let's create a wave of faith in the comments, uniting chosen ones who are anchoring their hearts in God's truth. Your words are a testament, connecting you to a community of believers rising together. Now, let's talk about the beauty of alignment, because when your belief aligns with God's will, miracles happen. Your goal isn't just a dream, it's a piece of God's blueprint for your life. Your outreach isn't just a connection, it's a thread in His tapestry of relationships. Your project isn't just a task, it's a brushstroke in His masterpiece. John 15:7 says, "If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you." Alignment means staying rooted in God's word, letting His truth guide your steps. When you align your belief with His promises, your efforts become anointed and your path becomes clear. Tonight, God is inviting you to realign your heart with His vision, because that's where your breakthrough lives. If this message is stirring your soul, consider supporting our mission through Super Thanks. Your generosity helps us bring God's light to more chosen ones, and we're deeply grateful for your partnership in this sacred journey. Let's pause to marvel at the wonder of your calling. Your life is like a stained glass window, each moment a piece of colored glass catching God's light. Your fears, your hopes, your steps of faith, they're all part of the design, glowing with purpose. 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, "For we live by faith, not by sight." Your belief is the light that makes the window shine, revealing the beauty of God's plan. That gold you wrote is a vibrant piece of glass, reflecting courage. That outreach you made is another, sparkling with love. That project you started is a third, radiant with creativity. Together, they are forming a window through which the world will see God's glory. Your spiritual awakening is this moment. Chosen one, when you choose to believe in the beauty of His design. Here's another story to inspire you. Javier was a carpenter in his 50s from a small town in New Mexico. He'd always wanted to teach woodworking to at-risk youth, but fear of not being taken seriously held him back. One evening, after praying for guidance, he decided to trust God's call. He started small, offering a few classes at a community center. Only a few kids showed up, but he believed in the vision. He kept teaching, pouring